Our last mystery block of the month is a flower garden block.
We're excited to share with you this great block, which will be fabulous in the middle of your quilt. There's several ways that you can do this block. You can needle turn applique, which is what we'll show you next.
Today.
But you can also...
You could do raw edge, blanket stitch.
Yes, I mean, there's various methods of applique, so choose your favorite. And today we'll show you how we're going to do a needle turn. So the first thing you'll want to do is download the template, which will be a circle. You'll have all these various templates too that you'll want to trace, and we'll have that available in the pattern.
And just have a lot of patience. This is, we wanted a spectacular center of our quilt, so this has a lot of pieces, but if you have patience and finish it, I think you'll be happy with the result.
Put on a really fun movie.
Or a few movies.
A few. So the best way to do this is to center this. We could find fourths on our block by pressing like we typically do.
And do you do a 13-inch block?
Because there's a lot of 13-inch block, which you can cut down to
a 12 and a half. Sometimes when you have a lot of needle turn, it kind of pulls your fabric in, so you can start a little big and trim down.
So there's a little center on that circle, and you'll place and make sure that you've got that even. And then what you'll do is trace around on that line. You can see the dark line coming through on your template through to the white. And so Cindy's just going to trace. Now this is the inside line of the bias strip. And I love using this tool from Clover, and it's a bias strip maker. And what you'll do is we like a 1/2-inch strip. You can do a 1/4 inch if you'd like. So you cut your strip, 1-inch strip on the bias, and you thread it through your bias maker and press that. I like to starch it so it's really crisp. And then what we're going to do is glue this, placing the inside line around here. And so Cindy's going to do this. I've got 2 pieces, mainly because I like to have my joins underneath this part of the flower, so I'm not showing those joins. So you can just start gluing.
I love this Fons and Porter glue stick. It's perfect.
Gluing so that what will happen here, this will place it right here on the center so that this line lines right up exactly with that, if that makes sense. And then we'll only go to that halfway mark. And you'll notice because you're on the bias, you'll notice that you can stretch this as you go around and place that. And then it's always, so you're lining up your inside. You'll notice this flips up, but we'll just place little pins along here and you'll be able to stitch that down. And we're just going to keep doing this.
So just continue to work around the edge.
I'm going to clip these on a bias so that they'll just sit nicer underneath that flower. So I'm going to just trim those to fit right into each other, and you'll just kind of match those up and overlap them. And it doesn't really matter because, like I said, that's going to be underneath. And then you can take the glue again, and you'll notice you can even place it on this outside edge, and you can glue everything down. And we have to be careful not to stretch it too much because we don't want that pulled in.
So if it's pulling a little bit.
Yeah, if it's pulling, you can lift it up and then just redo that.
I think I'll just grab that.
And I've just clipped those again. Like I said, that's kind of on a little bit of a bias there. And they'll just lay nice and flat. And just keep gluing. And then we're going to continue. And we've actually traced onto the right side of our fabric all of our little template lines.
Leaving a 1/4 inch to cut around it.
And then trimmed so that we have all of our pieces. And I like to trim probably a little less than a 1/4 inch because they're so little that you just don't need all that bulk. And let's begin. I think we can probably start with our big flowers first and put those on our 4 focal points right here.
So do you put these on before you start
You know
sewing
what? I
your...
do. And the reason you could actually sew this on, I guess that's easier for a lot of people. And if it is for you, you can sew that on. But I prefer having my whole project there so I can take it on the road with me or do whatever I am going and not come back and have to find the pieces that I'm looking for. So whatever is most convenient.
So you like to put all your stuff on
I do.
when you're... Oh, okay.
I do.
And I think I put mine on usually one at a time. So
Do you?
whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I think everyone works differently. I think it's just about what is easiest for you. So as you can see, Cindy's putting all these little pieces on, and as she's doing that, I'm going to place these ones in between. And you'll notice that the leaves can kind of go wherever you'd like them to go. But but the circle is your most important to get exact and correct on that. As you're putting your flowers, you can see from the outside edge, you want to make sure you have a good 1/2 inch so that by the time you turn that under and then you take your 1/4 inch right here, you'll have some space, some white space. And we'll just continue putting all of these pieces on.
And circles are a little tricky to needle turn. So if you wanted to use some Wonder Under and flip them inside out.
Well, you could just use this as your sewing line. So you could get your interfacing and you could sew and then trim like we've shown for a couple of the other quilt blocks.
Our previous
and then clip
block,
your interfacing and turn it. And that creates a nice circle.
And
but I
then
think it's really hard on teeny ones like this.
Yeah, these itty bitty ones.
So again, you could even use buttons instead of these itty bitty ones if you wanted to.
Yeah, buttons would be really adorable.
Cute if you wanted to save yourself some time. So once we've gotten all these on, we can start to do the leaves.
And again, just lots of patience. This is kind of the masterpiece of our block of the month. So it'll be a beautiful center block in your quilt.
So there's those ones. I think I've cut extra for you.
And you don't even have it underneath. You just kind of
I've
set
got
it out.
about 6 of each color, and there looks like there's about
You got a gingham, a polka
3
dot.
different.
Oh, cute.
A little tone-on-tone chevron, polka dot, and there looks like there are 2, 4, 20 leaves. So as we finish our block here, you can see that it really has a variation of leaves and flowers, and you can just place those, whatever is most appealing to your eye.
Put that over here. Yeah, all these great greens. I'll coordinate.
So one of the things we love to use is Sue Daly's Milliner's Needle, and we're going to do a French knot here. So if you place your end to your needle and then twist that around under your finger, hold it between your forefinger and thumb and pull, you have this beautiful knot. And we're using white thread because we want you to be able to see our stitching. Typically, I'd probably use the same color as your piece. You could probably use white on some of these greens and the yellow because there's big polka dots. And even the gingham, you could get away with white. But this red one, I definitely probably use a red.
Yeah, it's just when your needle appliquing, you want your threads just to disappear into the background.
And then one of the other things too is you'll notice the circles are fine, but right here you want to clip into the cleavage of the flower. So every time you've got a little flower petal and it indents like this, you'll want to clip because you want to be able to get in there as close as you can, and you would do that around your whole project. Now you can start anywhere you'd like. I think we'll start on this flower right here.
Okay.
And we'll just take this and turn it under. Now, because that's a little area, you want to pull that under, and you just grab 2 or 3 of those little tiny stitches from your fabric, and pull through. And this is what's pulling and keeping your corner. Now, because this is small and we're trying to circle this around, we just use our needle to turn as we go. And this requires time and patience, and you just slowly pull it under. And you can see that it's even hard, even though I'm using a contrasting thread, you just can't see it. When you pull that tight, it pulls under.
Because you're so good at it. You're hiding all those threads.
Okay, so what we're going to do is turn under with our needle. We're turning a curve right here. We're going straight down, right next to where my thread's right here. See this? And then I'm going right straight down in there, and I'm going to come up at an angle and pull
That gives
a
you
few
those
threads,
little teeny stitches.
and then pull that firmly. And you'll just keep going very slowly all the way around. And just take your time and enjoy and have fun.
So I think we've got going around corners, and make sure you get that area really good. Why don't you show how you do your points
Okay, good idea.
on the leaves? Because that can be a little
In
tricky.
fact, let's see, should we thread that one?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just take it down to this little curve area. Okay, so we're going to continue down, and you'll notice that because we're on such a small area, 1/8 of an inch is plenty. Now I'm getting to this little cleavage area here where it indents. Push under with your needle on this corner.
And that's why it's so important to clip right in that.
And you only clip to your line, and then I actually pull just a little bit further once I go to that, going straight down and then coming up at an angle. And when I come to that corner, I'll even do a couple of stitches like really, really close together just to hold in that point right there. And so one of the questions that we've been asked is, how do you not tangle your thread? And I think it's important as you're learning to needle turn or any kind of needlework to keep your thread short. So maybe 18 to 20 inches of thread is plenty to begin with. So we're going to leave that because we'll come back to that area. And let's begin on the leaves. So Cindy's got another thread here. And we'll show you one more time our French knot, where we place the end under our thumb, wrap it around several times, and then pull. And then you've got a knot that won't come undone. When I'm doing a place like this, I'll place a needle
To pull it
back so I can see where I'm going. And what I'll do is I'll just turn this under, and I'll come up right at my little line. And again, straight down, straight up. And I will just continue doing that all the way along, giving my leaf an edge. Now this is a broader surface, so I can probably do my stitches maybe about 1/4 inch apart, because it's just making that nice curve and there's not all those little edges like on a flower. But this really can be and should be something that you
relax, enjoyable.
If you're stressing out, you need to put it away.
And you're probably bending your needle.
Yes. It does take a lot of practice.
But it's something I enjoy doing, like in front of the TV or when I have a little downtime. Just have some stitching in my purse that I can pull it out.
Well, and most of the time we get our projects done on the road.
Yep.
When we're traveling, and
that's the only time we get our
keeps
projects
our hands
done.
busy, and it makes us feel like we're being productive and getting something done, even though we're away from our sewing machines. We're coming to the end of our leaf here, and we've done that whole edge. So as we get closer, leave your to your line that you've got marked on here. Turn this, and it's like wrapping the corner of a gift. I like to place my corner under like so, and then pull on this thread, and that's pulling my point right there. And then with my needle, I just place that under And I'm going to take a stitch right on that end. And I probably will do it one more time just to secure that, okay? And there's your point. And then you can just continue on down
Gives you that
this side.
great edge.
And that creates your nice little point, as you can see. Let me do a few more stitches, and then we'll show that this has created your little point right here. And you'll just continue around. So this will take you several hours to finish, at least. And you're going to enjoy this process as you learn to needle turn and take your time.
But look how beautiful the end result is.
It's our last block. We hope you enjoy it. And
we're going to have one more video that will show you how to put all these sampler blocks together in a beautiful quilt. So come back for that.